Hello and welcome to a monthly reset routine, reflect routine, prepare for the new month routine. It has been a couple months now since I've sat down and did one of these like for real because last month was a little bit wonky, a little bit weird. So I'm excited to get back into it. I just think it's always so beneficial to be reflective and you don't have to always be a self-improvement project. And I think that a lot of these resets you'll see me say oh, no new goals for the next month or something like that, or we're just gonna kind of keep on with what we're doing. But with that, I do think it's important to be reflective so that if there are, things to be grateful for or things to focus on change in your life, that you can be aware of those things and it jumps you out of autopilot, I feel like, and into a more mindful state to just reflect for a little bit. So I hope that whenever I do these reflect routines, it kind of inspires you to do a similar type of thing for your month, even if it just means sitting down for 5 minutes and thinking, even if you don't journal or anything, just thinking. I feel like I've kind of gotten a bit of a grasp of which sections of this reset and reflect video I like the best and which ones you guys like the best and are most curious about, because obviously every month is a little bit different. Always, every time, I think that it's going to be a shorter reset routine, and I guess you can look at the length of this video and tell me if it is, but I think that this month is going to be a shorter reset routine because I think I have kind of a clear picture of what I want to talk about. Starting with the reflection on the past month. So I'm filming this on January 31st, and so today is the last day of the month, and January always just feels like a long one, I think, because even though the days have moved by quickly, looking back to January 1st feels like a lifetime ago. On New Year's Day, I remember I sat and did a puzzle for a really long time. It was a chill day. Zach and I both cleaned together, kind of just to, get the new year going, whatever. In January, Zach had his birthday on the 3rd. I had my birthday just recently on the 20th. So that's always, kind of a fun month. We don't make the biggest deal of birthdays, but it's kind of fun that this is both of our birthday months. In the beginning of the month, my sister and her husband came and visited us and stayed in our apartment here. And we also took a road trip with them to North Carolina, back to my cousin's there because there was a wedding that was there. Again, that feels like a lifetime ago, but that did happen this month. And so that was fun to get to see family, especially coming off of the holidays in which I didn't get to see family, and then also just to have family stay with us and be able to take them out to restaurants and show them fun things that we do around Atlanta. I do feel like this month I've gotten out a bit more than some months, which is kind of nice. So I've gone to 2 book clubs this month. Zach and I have gone out to eat a couple times. So I feel like we've just kind of been getting out of the apartment more so than my homebody self sometimes defaults to. As of right now, just to document it, I have submitted 3 job applications. So I'm pretty actively job searching, which is new, and obviously no outcome to that yet, but January was the time when we turned from just kind of do I want to stay here to no, actively searching for a new opportunity. This month I've been doing Sydney Cummings beginning of the year kind of workout program. I forget, I think it's either called Move or Effort. I don't remember what it's called, but I've been doing a few days behind her, but trying to work out 5 days out of the week, and that I've been successful in enjoying, which is always fun because, I always say in every single reset video, workouts just wax and wane with the motivation and what feels fun at a time and kind of switching things up. And this has been a good fit for this month so far. I do feel like I've a little bit been in my relax era, which is nice. Just prioritizing things that are fun, such as letting myself just lay on the couch and read for hours if that's what I'm feeling and if I have time for that. Sitting and playing Mario Kart has been so fun for me. I mentioned it in a vlog recently, but I've been finding audiobooks that I want to listen to, turning the volume all the way down on Mario Kart and just listening to my audiobook and playing Mario Kart. That's been wonderful. I love that. I kind of have stopped doing puzzles a little bit, but at the beginning of the month, I was really doing puzzles. So overall, a lot has gone well in this month that has felt like a year. I feel like a lot of things are going on, changing in this month, which is also, I don't know, kind of wild to look at. And then just because it's important for the reflection, some things that didn't necessarily go so well in January. One, I would just say job searching isn't a fun stage to be in, I feel because it means the future is very uncertain, and it means that I'm constantly kind of just waiting and trying to figure out good next steps. And I do think that I've been getting better at that because in December and then earlier this month, I just felt stressed and anxious a lot about jobs. And now I have a pretty clear cut, okay, you're applying to these places and then however long you're gonna wait and then apply to these places next. I kind of have a clear cut plan, but it's still not a fun process, I like to be settled, at least in that aspect of life. And then I think kind of as a byproduct of that, my mood has really been up and down this month, in that there's been like a few days that I just have not been doing well, just like feeling sad. And that honestly is a combination probably of like the uncertainty of the future, but then also just like with my current job, which I've mentioned, you know, the problems that I've had in videos in the past like 6 weeks or so. But sometimes there are things that like I witness, or, you know, just stuff that makes me feel down. And I've been struggling more with that recently. I wanted to bring back monthly favorites because it's been a second since I've done that. I don't think I'll talk too much about them, but just like if you're looking for fun recommendations or anything. My monthly favorites as far as YouTubers have gone, and honestly the way that I came up with these few is that like when I see these people post, I like immediately click. Like I will be looking for their videos in the subscription feed just because I love watching them. Number one is a.bea.s. She went to the University of Alabama, so I've been following her since then. I remember even seeing her videos when I was a senior in high school, but at the time I didn't like actually watch through her videos because at the time I didn't know I was going to Alabama. But then once I decided to go there for college, that's like when I really started watching her videos. I specifically remember whenever I thought I was still going to UGA and Bama was like this, you know, rival school, whatever. Things feel really serious when you're a senior in high school thinking you're committed to a college. But I remember there was a video that she went to like a job fair and it was like raining and her boyfriend came and picked her up. I don't know why I remember that so specifically, but with that, I just feel like that's a very nostalgic person for me because I've been watching her for so long. And her content now, she lives in Dallas and she works in Big Four accounting and she just bought a house. She recently got engaged. She is a person whose videos I watch because they make me feel inspired. I just think that she's such a cool person and she's very wise. And so habits she has, routines she has, like I just really enjoy her videos a lot. Highly recommend, and I don't know why she's not like an even bigger YouTuber. Jen Lauren I've been watching recently and have like started like instantly clicking on her videos too, but I actually have no idea how old she is. I think she's a few years older than me. I know she worked a full-time job in New York City and then she did just freelancing for a while, and recently she's transitioned back into working a full-time job, but she's in New York City and she's very knowledgeable on things like health and wellness. She tries out different health and wellness trends lots of times and gives like honest reviews, and we'll dive into the science behind them and like talk about that. But then she's also someone that I think is very good about working good wellness techniques and things to do into her everyday routine. So it's been fun seeing her transition back into like her full-time working lifestyle while still maintaining things like, I'm pretty sure she meditates every morning. Like she's someone who does breath work. She seems very smart about like foods to eat and stuff just to like feel good overall. So I always feel inspired like watching her too, and just it's fun to follow along with life as far as that goes as well. Allison Pages is a YouTuber who I honestly don't know too much about like biographically, but she does make book content and she lives in Belgium. I'm pretty sure she's American, but she lives in Belgium, and her videos just feel like a warm hug. Like she has this warm tone that she puts to all of her videos. The books that she recommends are very like slice of life, like encouraging, uplifting, hopeful, just like genuinely picture the feeling of a big warm hug from your favorite person, and that's what I feel like her videos are. So they have become instant clicks for me as well. And then lastly for this month, Destiny Sidwell is also a booktuber. She, I believe, is younger than me. I think she's like 19 or 20. I don't know where she lives, but she does have a southern accent, so I think it's somewhere in the south. And her book videos are just very fun. She's a fun personality. She's one of those people that when she talks about something she loves, you just start to love it too, just because of the way she talks about it. And she does various like trying different series, reading vlogs, 24-hour challenges, just things like that are so fun to watch and to consume. So those are the current favorite YouTubers. Podcasts that I'm listening to, a lot of these have kind of remained the same. Poog is always a favorite of mine. Bingetopia I've started listening to much more. The Overdue podcast, I honestly don't even know the names of the hosts, to be honest. It's two men. But they give John and Hank Green vibes. Like if you've ever listened to John and Hank Green's podcast, I genuinely feel like there's so many similarities between John and Hank Green and these two men, but they just talk about books. And so it's a good like kind of low stakes. I really like listening to podcasts that have like nothing to do with my professional life or with like any deep thoughts necessarily, but are just like good, relatively lighthearted while still being interesting. And with that, the fourth favorite podcast recently is Two Hot Takes, in which Morgan, I think is her name. It's like I know these people's voices so well and I feel like I know a lot about them because of the podcast, but like the actual names and stuff. Apparently not. But she reads like Reddit stories. She'll have a guest on and they'll just like read Reddit stories. And so it's just like fun discussion and kind of makes you think a little bit. So whenever I'm playing like Mario Kart out there or something, sometimes it's these podcasts that I listen to. If you want the full breakdown of books that I read, that video will be going live pretty soon, if not like tomorrow or something. I'm not sure. It depends. I haven't filmed it yet, but that will be going live on my BookTube channel. So you can go there for that. But I do just want to mention my favorite books of this month, which honestly, it was a very good reading month. Like I have a lot of books that I really enjoyed, but the favorites I would say that I read this month are Beartown by Frederick Bachman, The Tea Dragon Tapestry by Kay O'Neill, and Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. So if you want to hear more about them, look out for that BookTube channel. But those are my favorite books of the month. As far as food goes, I've been getting matcha lattes more recently instead of like an espresso based latte. Granted, I feel like it doesn't scratch the same itch that coffee does. Like this morning I had a matcha latte and I kind of feel like I'm gonna have an afternoon cup of coffee because I just want coffee as well. But that being said, I have been really enjoying matcha lattes just because it's so like sweet and delicate, and I feel like when I drink them it's just like matcha. So I've been loving that. There is a recipe that I've been making that I've absolutely been loving. Let me see what it's called. I'll link my meal app down in the description, but I've been making dinners like not every night, but like most nights the past maybe 2 months or so, which is something that this time last year I was starting to try to get into. So the fact that it's just like routine and habit now is pretty cool. That's why it's fun to reflect. But the meal app that I use, which like I said, I'll link down below, it's like you can scroll through, and if you have any dietary restrictions or anything, you can put those filters in, so it'll only show you things that you know you can eat. You scroll through and you just build a meal plan for yourself. So whether it's your goal to cook dinner like 4 times a week or 3 times a week, whatever it may be, you just pick the recipes that you want. You can set how many people you want to make it for, and then you just build your meal plan for that week, and then it creates a grocery list for you. It just puts, you know, the ingredients that you need together, so you don't have to do that part, which is a step that always feels like I'm just glad whenever someone else does it for me. And then you can even like, I'll go through and cross out stuff that we already have at home. So then it just leaves me with a grocery list so that when I go to the grocery store, it's like, okay, perfect. 2 bell peppers, you know, whatever it is. It's just right there and easy. Oh, this is the recipe that I've really been loving though. And the reason that I'm talking about this now, but chicken, bell pepper, and cashew stir fry over rice. Oh, I've been loving that. I've been loving that. The app does have a paid version. I only use the free version, to be honest. So like when I link it, you're not gonna have to pay anything. But genuinely, this app is like the reason that I've been able to make dinners relatively stress-free. You know, I feel like sometimes if you just like Googling a recipe and then you have to come up with the list yourself and then try to keep track of it for whenever you're actually wanting to make it, I feel like the executive functioning just gets lost somewhere there for me. Whereas this app has made it convenient enough that it's just become like a nightly thing where it's like, oh, let me cook dinner real quick. Let me stir fry. It's been great. So that's another food favorite. Going into a little reflection about what I spent this month, I'll put my little pie chart up on the screen. What if I come over here? Can you see it then? I never know how to do this best. But I made this last night, and so the only things that are going to be different is the fact that I just bought books at Half Price Books. These 2 over here and these 2 over here are new, and I spent like $35 doing that. But honestly, I think that this month was a lower spend month for me, which is good because my income has reduced recently since I quit my second job at the beginning of this month. But I hadn't been receiving income for it for a while, but you know, things are weird. So what I spent this month, you can see the biggest chunk will start over there is housing. That is, you know, rent, Wi-Fi, all that stuff. I feel like this has become like routine to say. We split a 2-bedroom 3 ways, and then also since I have a partner and live with him, we share costs and split costs in various different ways that make sense for us at the time. And that is what I paid on housing. Food, I paid $180. Travel, I spent $550, and that is because I almost have the trip that I'm going on in March. It is almost all the way paid off. I'm going on a trip with EF Ultimate Breaks, who are also always linked down in the description box if you want $100 off, but I'm going on a trip with them towards the end of March, and I only have like $60 left to pay of that trip, I believe. But that's why it's a big chunk. It's like the last month it's going to be a big chunk like that because it'll be paid off, and then whenever I go on the trip, it'll feel free at that point. Subscriptions, that's just Spotify and iCloud storage. That's the same every month. YouTube, $166.58. That's paying the monthly installment for the laptop that I got back in September, so that I think it's those monthly payments until September of this year, I'm pretty sure. Health and wellness, this was, what did I get? This category is a lot lower than it has been in resets past, and that's because since I've stocked up on skincare and shampoo and everything, like there just wasn't anything that I needed this month other than, I think I got tampons and greens powder. That's the 2 that led up to that. Car expense is a little bit higher this month, especially because I didn't get any service or anything done. It's just gas, but we went on the road trip, like I said, and I drove whenever we went to North Carolina. And so $113 $14.11 is the total there. Love for me category, $220.59. That includes both the laser hair removal treatment, which as of today, I've got my 4th out of 10 done, which is nice. And also getting my nails done, which I think, I haven't decided for sure. I think I might take a break from getting my nails done. And the part that's holding me back from this, honestly, the reason that I'm thinking about that, number one, this one broke, which is just annoying. And it also just kind of makes me feel like, maybe I just want to have like natural nails so I don't have to like worry about things like this for a while. Also, I feel like after a while, it just starts to feel like thick. And I'm kind of just like, I wonder what it's like under there nowadays. But the part that is holding me back from taking a break from getting my nails done is I've been seeing on like Christian mom influencers that are stopping getting their nails done for the beginning of the year as like a modesty thing, which to each their own. Like everyone can do what they want, but for me it's not that motivation. So part of me was like, well, I feel like I need to get my nails done one more time so I'm not like in that crowd of people who stop getting their nails done, because I love having my nails done. It's not like something against getting my nails done. I just think maybe I want a little break. Nobody cares. Why did I just talk about that for 5 minutes? It's fine. Love for others category, $152.88. This is the Compassion Kids that I sponsor. I sponsor 2 children and I just have for the longest time. So that, I mean, it's been monthly payment for forever. And then also a wedding gift. A wedding gift went into that category. Home, $55.33. What was this? Toilet paper and dish detergent. That's what that was. Boring. And then functional, $20.50. That was whenever I had to pay to get the school certification, the school social work certification. That's what that was. So I'm pretty sure that's a lower spending month, which is okay because as far as earnings go, I made $2,700 this month, which is actually kind of high. And I think it's because I worked more hours, maybe. I don't know. But $2,700 this month from my social work job. YouTube income, as always, just goes straight into savings. So that one's a little bit different. I want to start doing goal check-ins in these monthly resets since this is the first one of like the new year with January being done. Something that I did for New Year's goals and like resolutions and everything that's different than previous years is I made myself a little bingo board, but I made it on Canva and I think I want to move it into like a journal so I can physically cross off whenever things happen. But I just came up with things that are like one and done's going to happen essentially, and then once they do, or I think going to happen, or like, you know, some of them I have to do, but once they're done for the year, I'll cross them off and I'll just see if I get a bingo. So like the goal is not necessarily going to be like, oh, a blackout board, but if I get a bingo, then that's fun of my goals. So what I'm going to do is find my bullet journal. It's somewhere around here. I don't use it all that often, but I'm going to find it and I'm going to make like the bingo board so that we can do a goal check-in, see what of the yearly goals got done this month. If I do this every month, then we'll be able to see like when a bingo actually gets made, which is pretty fun. And then with that, I'm also going to sit down and come up with like my February goals and intentions so we can talk about those as well. So I'm going to do that and then I'll come back here. The thing about me is that nothing is ever going to be perfect or beautiful in this journal, and I'm okay with that. So like the fact that I smeared that marker, I know some people would hate, but I feel like whenever I have imperfections like that happen in here, it just makes it feel real to me. You know, it's like I use the same colors all throughout this, but nothing is perfect. That being said, here's my 2022 bingo card. We can go over it real quick. Some of them I kind of coded just because you don't need to know all of my things. But I have the goal to quit my current job before June, 52 booktube videos, pay off laptop, 5K followers on TikTok, 10K in savings, go to the dentist, max out 2022 Roth IRA, finish laser hair removal treatments, secret, get a massage, 5K subscribers on a main channel, another secret goal of mine, free space, move to a new apartment, get a school social work certification, max out 2023 Roth IRA, $5K from social media, 3 paid brand deals, buy a new sofa, vacation number 1, buy a new vacuum, 52 main channel videos, vacation number 2, read 100 books, get a different social work job. So as you can see, like maybe not all of these will happen, and it's not necessarily like I am requiring all of them to happen, but it is a bingo card. So as far as this month, let me grab my pink marker. Obviously the free space gets to be colored in. And then I also got my school social work certification. And then kind of looking at those goals and seeing what my February focuses are going to be, which I think maybe is a better way to word it than like February goals. Because like I said, I'm not trying to be a self-improvement project, but I am trying to like focus in on what I need to focus in on. So obviously a continued job search. That's just going to be continued until something happens. My goal is to produce, create, post 4 booktube channel videos and 4 main channel videos. So it'll end up being twice a week postings is the goal. I honestly should be able to do more than that, especially because this entire month I have Tuesday and Wednesday off, you know, 2 days off in a week. Crazy. but I think that should be attainable. It's the focus though. My goal is to work out on weekdays. This is something that I've been doing just for the past couple of weeks, and I find it to be so mentally relaxing for me to just know, like, okay, if it's my goal to go to the gym 5 times a week, I'm not just going to like go until I reach that goal. That means I'm going to work out on weekdays and I'm going to rest on weekends. Having it set like that, I have found that allows me to like actually mentally relax on weekends and not feel the pressure of, oh, well, maybe I should just go to the gym anyways, because I'm really bad about mentally being able to rest and like feel like I can take days off, which is something I need to get better at. But also I found that like scheduling it like that, where it's like, okay, if it's a weekday, I'm going, if it's a weekend, I'm not, then period, end of story. And if I'm like really not feeling it on a weekday, then I'll, you know, walk on the treadmill and read or something. Like, it doesn't have to be crazy every day, but weekends, rest time. I put dentist with a couple question marks because I need to go to the dentist. But have we ever talked about my teeth on here? I have a complex oral history and I just feel nervous about starting a new dentist, trying a new dentist, figuring out how insurance works as far as that goes. So it's been a goal because I need a cleaning. I'm used to be 6 months on the dot, like up until I was 20, I would get them, and it's been since December 2020 since I've been to the dentist, which I feel ashamed of. And I also put taxes with a couple exclamation points. I don't know if they'll be able to be done by the end of February, but I would love for them to be able to be done by the end of February. Take a whole boatload of stress off me. I feel like this may be one of the most efficient monthly reflect, reset, prep routines I've ever done. If you enjoyed it, let me know and I'll try to make future ones fit this vibe too, but I feel like we got a good structure going. I hope you are having a great week, a great start to your month, a great life. I appreciate you, and I will see you next time.